Welcome to the 28th Massachusetts Company B. Help our channel by liking and subscribing, and follow us on Instagram for more great content. Looking for an authentic unit based in Virginia with members in 6 states? Hit us up. Before we dive into the kitchen and start baking, let's talk for a moment about what we're making and why. This video is all about
No hardtack, come again no more.
what it is, why it mattered, and how you can make your own. While making hardtack is one of the simplest things you can do, everybody has their own recipe. We base ours off of 28th Massachusetts member Mike Schaffner's amazing 25-page article on the subject. It's well worth the read. Link in the description. Hardtack, also known as hard bread, hard crackers, or sometimes just teeth breakers, was one of the most important foods issued to Civil War soldiers. It's a dense, dry biscuit made from just flour and water, and sometimes with a little salt. It has no yeast, no fat, and no frills. And that's exactly the point. Hardtack wasn't made to be delicious. It was made to provide food and last a long time, something the Army is still working on. For centuries, armies and navies around the world use some version of hardtack. Soft bread spoils quickly, takes time to make, and doesn't pack easily. So when soldiers hit the road, the Army issued a reliable alternative: dried, durable crackers that could survive weeks or even months of rough travel. Civil War soldiers would carry a few days' worth in their haversacks, and while it wasn't anyone's favorite meal, it got the job done. Some soldiers soaked it in coffee, some crumpled it into their soup, and some even made sandwiches with salt pork between 2 crackers. Others just choked it down because it was that or go hungry. Of course, not all hardtack was created equal. When stored improperly, it could get moldy, go rock hard, or become infested with weevils. There are plenty of letters and memoirs from veterans complaining about its condition. Some even said the bugs added additional protein. But when it was fresh and made well, hardtack was meant to be edible. Dry, yes. Tough, sure. But still chewable, especially when prepared right. In fact, there are multiple first-hand accounts, such as from John Billings, Hardtack and Coffee, and Henry Thomas, The Century, of soldiers using hardtack to make sandwiches. Hardtack is most relevant today to living historians at historic sites and those who strive for authenticity and put a lot of effort into replicating the 1860s soldiering experience. At events requiring participants to carry a flat haversack and live off period rations, it truly matters whether those rations are actually edible. I have attended enough of those events to know the issued rations often include hardtack, so tough it's inedible unless you can unhinge your jaw and swallow a brick. That's not authentic. Real hardtack, despite its challenges and soldiers' complaints, was meant to be eaten. And it was. By the millions. First, let's go over your supplies. Unless you have a period-correct dough mixer, dough break, dough kneaders, or a cracker machine, you'll have to make do with what's in your kitchen at home. To mimic the steam power of a hardtack factory, we will substitute our trusty KitchenAid. Of course you can do this by hand, but the KitchenAid makes it much easier, especially if you are making a lot. In terms of KitchenAid attachments, you're going to want a dough hook, which simulates the action of hand kneading. The standard paddle is not ideal for kneading doughs due to its shape and its lack of ability to handle the elasticity of heavy doughs. You will need a spatula to scrape off the sides of the bowl. Next, you're going to need 2 measuring cups. One is going to be for the water, and one is going to be for the flour. For rolling pins, this is just a standard dowel rolling pin, nothing fancy. To ensure you get the correct thickness, I recommend getting a 1/4 inch roller. The purpose of the 1/4 inch roller is not to get the crackers 1/4 inch thick. Rather, experience has shown that after rolling the dough out to that thickness and placing it immediately in the oven after, it expands to about 1/2 inch thickness while retaining the same 3x3 inch external dimensions. You'll need a hardtack cutter. This one is from Dixie Tin Works. You'll find there are some original examples of cutters or descriptions of hardtack that either have the name of the contractor or just US on it, so I've made these. These come from a pastry making kit, so you can spell anything that you want. I do one that says Liberty, and the other one says US. C. L. Kilburn's Notes on Preparing Stores for the United States Army, 1863, notes that while flour and water are the primary ingredients, salt can be optionally added. If I'm making hardtack for a summer event, I will add some salt to help people get their electrolytes up. And finally, the flour. The best flour is pastry flour, which is close to what was originally used. As Kilburn 1863 notes, hardtack
should be made of the best quality of superfine, or what is usually known as extra superfine flour.
You can technically use any flour. I've used all-purpose flour and whole wheat flour. All-purpose flour will get you by, but I would not advise using whole wheat flour. Pastry flour will help you get that all-important flakiness. 4 cups of flour and 1 cup of water will give you about 8 or 9 pieces of hardtack. Let's get started. For time, it will take about 10 minutes of mixing and kneading, 30 minutes of resting, and 15 minutes for baking, so about 1 hour total. This recipe will yield chewy, cooked-through hardtack, as Billings and Thomas mentioned, ideal for weekend use. It's authentic in ingredients and close in method, and still soft enough to bite into without breaking a tooth. The second recipe will be for making hard hardtack. Step 1. Mixing the dough. In a KitchenAid with a dough hook on the second lowest speed, add the 4 cups of flour, some salt, again this is optional, and slowly incorporate the water. Use a spatula to scrape off the sides. After 2 minutes, lower the speed. In 5 minutes, you'll get a rough, gravelly dough. Some flour may still be dry. Step 2. Hand knead. Stop the mixer. Put a little flour down to avoid sticking and knead by hand to blend in the remaining flour. Add a small amount of water or flour if needed. See how it's flaking? That's exactly what you want. Step 3. Machine knead. When combined, put it back into the mixing bowl. Resume mixing on the lowest setting, using the spatula to guide bits towards the center. Here, we have to make sure that we have the correct consistency. If it's not holding its form, add small amounts of water. If it's making a squishing sound, it's too wet, so add small amounts of flour. After 6 to 7 minutes, the dough should be dry but slightly glossy. Step 4. Rest. This wasn't mentioned in period sources, but let the dough rest for 20 to 30 minutes to relax the gluten. This will help with rolling. Step 5. Prep the oven. Preheat your oven to between 400 and 475 depending on your oven. I use 400 degrees, but each oven is different. Place a pan on the bottom rack to receive the water at a later step. At the same time, boil 1 cup of water. Step 6. Roll the dough. Gently press and fold the dough twice. Don't overwork it. Use a heavy roller to flatten to just under 1 inch thick. Then, working from the inside out, use your 1/4 inch roller to reach the final thickness. Step 7. Cut and pierce. I use the cloth so I don't scratch my counter. Cut out squares with a hardtack cutter. Aim for 6 to 9 pieces before re-rolling the scraps. Flip each and pierce the other side if needed. If you are stamping, this is the step to do so. So we'll do a few liberties and a few US's. You want this to cook evenly, so I find it best to put on a tray to allow the bottoms to cook as well. Also, if you didn't re-pierce, or any of the holes are not all the way through, you can use a toothpick to finish them off. Step 8. Dampen the tops. Wet your fingers and lightly moisten the tops, don't soak. I like to use a spray bottle. Step 9. Bake. Remember, every oven is different, so it might take some trial and error to find the correct temperature. It will likely be around 400 to 475 degrees. Once the oven is at temp, place the trays in the oven. Quickly pour boiling water into the bottom pan and shut the door. Bake for 15 to 20 minutes. I recommend checking the hardtack every 5 minutes after about 10 minutes of cooking. Step 10. Cool. It's been about 20 minutes at 400 degrees, and you want to get blasted in the face with steam when you open the door. It looks perfect, and as you can see, soft enough to break apart with your hands. Nice and flaky. To increase the shelf life, I will remove the water tray, turn the oven down to 200 degrees, and let it cook for another 10 to 20 minutes to further dry it out. Once done, I will put a towel on the door to let it cool slowly, removing the remaining moisture. When done, it should be pretty hard and dense. I found if properly made, it will keep in the refrigerator indefinitely. And that's it. It's perhaps one of the simplest things a reenactor could do to improve their impression. So there we go. We really hope you enjoyed this video. We hope to see you in the field. Make sure you follow us on YouTube and Instagram, and we hope to see you next time. Ba-ah-ba-la.